Hey everybody, hope this finds you doing well. This is Danelle here at Networkchain. Thank you for watching. Today we're going to go over the cryptocurrency market update as well as what's going on with Ethereum. It's kind of been one of those cryptocurrencies that's been out in the news lately, especially since the Ethereum ETFs launched about a month ago or so. So we'll dig into that in a moment. As usual, let's go ahead and start with the crypto update. You can see currently Bitcoin is trading at $59,000, now down 8% over the past week. It had a nice little spike up about a week ago, and now it's come back down. It's still ranging in that $58,000 to $59,000 range. Really, when you look at it from a drawn out perspective, you can see here at the yearly chart, you can see that Bitcoin, as usual, since March, we're still in that $50,000 to $70,000 range, generally between 60 and 70 for the most part, but we are kind of trying to hold that $58,000 level. But you can see we're currently trading at around 59,000. A lot of people are getting very restless when it comes to Bitcoin, but that's what it does. It can do that from time to time. If we look at the all-time chart, you can see back in the last cycle from around 2019 going into really 2021, you can see that Bitcoin ranged for a period of time down here in that, let's say 10 to I don't know, 10 to 15 to $20,000 range for several months, really for about a year. You can see that that was kind of like that accumulation phase there. There also was that period of time down here in 2018, 2019, had a nice little jump up, and then it came back down and then pretty much ranged for a while until we hit the bull run at the end of 2020 going into 2021, and you see that parabolic move. So many people are looking forward to and hoping that we will have that history will repeat itself when it comes to the Bitcoin cycles, and that we will have another parabolic move sometime, if not beginning of this, or I should say, if not beginning at the end of this year in 2024, and then we can potentially see some crazy moves going into 2025, because normally we see that 4-year cycle. So 2021 is when we had those amazing moves, and now that the Fed Reserve is going to be cutting the interest rates, there potentially could be more money printing. That's what happened in 2020 and started that bull run in 2021. So people are speculating that we could see the same happening in 2025. So just hold on, continue to accumulate if you are a Bitcoin investor. Obviously, do your own research. We're not financial advisors, but we are stacking during this period because we see that this is an opportunity that could be fortuitous going forward if Bitcoin does start to go on that parabolic run that it is known to do every 4 years. So we'll be looking to see what happens over the next several months, especially going into the end of the year with the US elections in November. And usually Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies towards the end of the year can start to see some nice gains. So we will continue to keep you posted, obviously, on what's going on with Bitcoin. We're going to talk a little bit more about Ethereum. The Ethereum ETFs came out towards the end of July of this year, and it hasn't done very well. You can see here that Bitcoin, there's been a lot of selling pressure, and Bitcoin has basically underperformed Ethereum has underperformed Bitcoin, as well as many other cryptocurrencies, but it is still in that number 2 slot when you look at the overall market. You can see that Ethereum is down nearly 9% at $2,500 trading now over this past week. And you can see that Solana is down 14%, currently trading at around $136. XRP is down 9%, trading at 56 cents. Dogecoin is down 10%. Tron, which broke into the top 10 about a week or so ago, is down just under 1%. And Toncoin, which has seen a lot of volatility since its founder was arrested last week in France. He has now been released, but I believe he still has to stay in France, potentially awaiting trial. That coin is down 21% over the past 7 days, now trading at $5. And Cardano, which had been in the top 10 for a while, is down nearly 12%, trading at 35 cents. So if we go back to that Ethereum chart, you can see here that basically since the beginning of the year, it's right back where it was in January of 2024. So a lot of Ethereum bulls are getting a little restless as well when it comes to Ethereum, a little bit upset that it hasn't been performing a little bit better, particularly against Bitcoin. You can see that it's been pretty volatile over the last several months, and now it's down in that 2,500 range. It had gone all the way up to about $4,000 when we had a nice run up for crypto towards the first half, the first quarter of the year, and now it's been slowly trickling down, and it is now in that $2,500 range. So it'll be important to see if Ethereum will continue to stay in this $2,500 range, or at least not be breached down towards 2000. And if it can stay in this $2,500 range, then it could potentially be a accumulation phase, and then maybe over time we'll start to see Ethereum creep back up towards that $3,000 to $3,500 range going in towards the end of the year and going into 2025. So as we mentioned, the Ethereum ETFs came out about a month ago. Here are the Ethereum trusts that are, or I should say Ethereum ETFs that are currently out on the market. Grayscale's Ethereum Trust, which was a trust and a product that was for institutional investors, called ETHE. They had about $10 billion worth of Ethereum in that trust, which was converted over to an Ethereum ETFs. And then they spun out what they call the Ethereum Mini Trust, which is ETH, which has a much lower fee at 0.15%, which is a lot more competitive with the other Ethereum ETFs that are out there. Now, the ETHE had has a fee of 2.5%. So it has seen a ton of outflows now that it had become available on the public markets and had converted into an ETF. It saw a ton of outflows and continues to see outflows out of that product and going into some of the other ETFs, or just people just taking profits who had gotten into the ETHE product from a year, 2 years, 3 years ago. They have definitely seen some nice gains over the last year or two. So you can see here that Van Eck, Bitwise, 21 shares, which is they have a product with ARK on the Bitcoin side. You have Fidelity, which obviously is a major player. iShares, that is the BlackRock offering. They have done the best so far in terms of accumulating Ethereum. They have about $1 billion worth of Ethereum currently in the past month, and Invesco also has an Ethereum ETF as well. So if we take a closer look at the flows right now, it's still, the net flow is still an outflow. So the net flow is actually about $475 million of outflows. So we still haven't gotten into the positive yet in terms of the flows going into these Ethereum ETFs. As I mentioned, a lot of people and a lot of institutions and a lot of firms are getting out of that ETHE with that 2.5% fee. You can see that basically every day they've had outflows, and so far a total of $2.5 billion in outflows. You can see BlackRock currently has had the most inflows with about $1 billion with that ETHA product. And you can see some of the other ones, Fidelity in second place with $392 million in inflows. So just with similar to what happened with the Bitcoin ETFs, there were a lot of outflows coming out of the Grayscale product, which had that higher fee. And then over time, it started to stabilize, and then you started to see net inflows into those Bitcoin ETFs. Here's just another chart just to show kind of what's been going on with the Ethereum ETF flows. You can see here in the red, you can see Grayscale had a ton of outflows, and basically any kind of inflows that were coming in was eaten up by the outflows of that Grayscale trust. And then now you can see that it's starting to flatten out. So we may potentially start to see this line go up towards the inflow side. So obviously time will tell. We'll keep you posted as to what's going on with Ethereum. Also in the news, which was a big news story over this past week, is that the SEC continues to send out Wells notices to a lot of different crypto firms, and the latest is Opensea. We've talked about Opensea in the past, which is a NFT marketplace. And so you can see here the crypto marketplace, Opensea, has been added to the SEC's list of targets as the regulator extends its crackdown on the sector. A lot of people are critical of the SEC because we don't have a lot of clear and concise regulatory frameworks that would be helpful for the crypto industry to understand what would be considered a security, what would be considered a commodity. Obviously, we know that Bitcoin is not considered a security. It doesn't pass the Howey test, which is the test that is used in determining whether or not a asset is a security and whether it would fall under the jurisdiction of the SEC. And so basically people are saying that the SEC is trying to regulate through enforcement, and it shouldn't do that. There should be laws in place, and then they can enforce those particular laws. So right now they're currently going through the court judicial system, and so far they haven't done well in terms of the major cases that have been brought against Ripple, for example, which they won most of their case. The SEC continues, no matter what, its barrage against a lot of these cryptocurrency exchanges and these cryptocurrencies that they believe are securities and pass the Howey test. So we shall see what the judge will rule in this particular case. The Opensea CEO said on Wednesday, when the Wells notice was received, that they are shocked that the SEC would make such a sweeping move against creators and artists, but we're ready to stand up and fight. And that's the Opensea CEO, Devin Finzer, and he wrote this post on X. He said, by targeting NFTs, the SEC would stifle innovation on an even broader scale. Hundreds of thousands of online artists and creatives are at risk, and many do not have the resources to defend themselves. So they're actually pledging $5 million to cover legal fees for various NFT creators and developers who do receive a Wells notice. So obviously this is going to be an ongoing issue for the next several months, potentially the next couple of years. And so we'll definitely be curious to see what the judge rules when it comes to what NFTs will be classified as. A lot of them are non-fungible. They're basically non-fungible tokens. So they're not like securities, which generally are fungible, like fiat currency, for example, or a stock, for example. Those are securities. So NFTs are a completely different realm, but obviously it looks like it's going to be up to a judge to determine whether that is the case. So a lot going on in the cryptocurrency market as usual. We are continually keeping you posted, not only on X, but as well as IG nearly every day. And of course, here on YouTube. Thank you so much for watching. We look forward to linking up with you on the Networkchain. In the meantime, take care. Bye-bye.